podcast where we give you all the tips, tricks, and mindset shifts you need to know if you want to live by design instead of by default. Today's guest is someone whose story hits deep, not because she's an expert, but because she is real. She's an author who turned her grief into something beautifully human. Her first book was born out of the raw, unfiltered love she still carries for her dad. And through her writing, she helps other people feel a little less alone in their journey through loss. She's a writer, an insurance agent, and a firm believer that healing and money both require mindfulness, building habits that protect what matters most. She's currently working on her second book about her time living in the Dominican Republic, a story of courage, change, and self discovery. I'm honored to welcome her to the Mindful Money Makers. Today, we're talking with Elissa Butson. How we doing today, Elissa?
Good. I keep forgetting. Elissa. I don't say it
Elissa.
right sometimes.
I do apologize. I'm sorry about
I'm
that.
sorry.
Elissa.
I don't correct people.
And my name is a little tongue twister as well. So I know I hate when that happens. So I do
Yeah.
apologize. But we are here. Hopefully we can have some fun. How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good,
I
good.
am good.
It's been a little minute. So you got the book out. We went through this journey, and I want to talk about so many things, right? But the I think what I'm most interested in is the person that you've become by diving in, right? Digging deep, mixing up two different things. uh and soul searching, finding all of these things that were inside of you. I know that you've wanted to produce this book for some time, some years, and you finally pulled the trigger, got it done, and
Mhm.
probably learned a lot. So I was able to kind of introduce you briefly, like on a surface level. What I usually do is I'll give my guests an opportunity to introduce themselves a little bit deeper. Tell us how you got started. Where did this come from? Where are you now, and where are we headed?
Oh, that's a lot of questions at
Yeah.
once. Well, we'll start with where it came from, is my heart. So writing has always been a tool for me, and this was never I never planned for this to be a book. It really just started with my grief and my own healing. So in missing my father, I started journaling, and then I began writing him letters when I missed him. And a year later, I went back and was able to look at the letters, read through essays I had written, and see that I had literally written my way through grief. I
Mhm.
could see the difference in that space that I was when he first passed, and a year later. And that might seem like, sure, every but some people carry their grief for a very long time and they don't know how. I think it was Tyler Perry who said something about like, I tried to run from it. I tried all these different ways to escape it, but it was always there. So that writing really helped me to see that growth on paper.
Mhm.
Um, and then I honestly don't know. I think I just it was something inside me that was like, this has to be a book. And sometimes it doesn't have to be rational. We know.
Right, right.
Our intuition or whatever tells us that we have to do this. I was like, I have to get this out here. And I needed a push from you to be like, okay, you can keep you can keep doing it. But there's two different things. I feel like in some ways I rushed it in getting it out,
Mhm.
because I did the self-publishing route and I was like on fire to get it done. So I was like spending a lot of time like researching all different things, to do it all myself because I can be stubborn like that. But then there's another part that became divine timing.
Mhm.
Like when I look at it and you get no matter what your message is online, there can be trolls just saying things. And I felt like I'm finally in the space where I don't care what people say.
Come on now.
It's my story, and if it helps one person, 5 people, or thousands of people, like that, just that one person makes a difference to me because I felt so lonely and so I mean, grief is a lonely journey
Mhm,
because regardless of how many people you're surrounded by, you still have to go through it
mhm,
yourself. Like any growth,
mhm.
you're
Right.
still like it's like an internal thing that you have to learn how to either transmute that energy and move on and let it go.
Mhm. What was that transmutation like for you, in the writing process when you took those letters and turned it into a book?
Um, there was a lot to it. I know that by the time I finished, I was like, I don't even want to look at it anymore. Like I'm over it. I had to kind of like step away and reset.
Mhm,
Um, but it started with I started putting it into a book. I think I edited it myself 2 or 3 times, and then I was scared to put it into a book, so it became a blog series so that I could just do 1 week at a time
mm,
and take little bits and pieces, and then I recorded it on Spotify to do, like, the audio version of the blog series, and then I took that and created some videos with it, like with AI, either just the audio, with the captions. I've played around with creating cartoons with different parts. If I had time, I would have full series of
yeah.
everything, but I had to refocus. um, so Uh, yeah, so then by the time I've been done, everybody's like, "You have to celebrate it." So I did have a small celebration with some friends and family that was nice. I got to connect. I think that's been one of the nice things. All the people that that came out to support. It's interesting because it really reminded me of grief. It was like putting my book out there. The people that I thought would show up disappeared, and the
Right.
people that I didn't expect to show up came out of nowhere.
Mhm,
So, it was it reminded me of that whole journey. Um, but it's been nice because even now I've been reconnecting with different people. I still have a couple of people who had pre-ordered that we've been trying to connect so I can get them their book, but everybody's taking her time, and I'll meet up for coffee, and it's nice because, and I made a new friend,
mhm.
s a stranger online that bought my book,
Wow.
and we have connected since and become friends, and,
Oh,
that was she sent me a message after she read it in, like, 2 days. She
wow.
couldn't put it down, and she said, "Thank you for writing this book for the brokenhearted like me."
Mhm.
And I
Wow.
was like she didn't know how much she validated the fact that, like, sometimes we're like, "I know I need to do this, I know I need to do this," and then you put it out there and you're like, "Oh my god, should I have done that?"
Mhm. Right,
We
right.
question ourselves a little bit,
Mhm.
and so hearing it from a stranger
Mm.
that didn't know me made me like, "Okay, I was meant to do this, like,
Oh, yeah.
thank you."
I love that. Is that something that you could have ever guessed would happen before you got started? Is that kinda what you were
No,
thinking?
I didn't really thought of no, because in my mind, that whole mindset of like, "Oh, what if it's not good enough? What if," like, I mean, even now, my first one has I found an extra one of the pages was duplicated, and I was like, "Oh, oops." I'm
Mhm.
like, "Well, that's
Okay.
the special edition. Everybody gets not everybody gets."
Right, right.
Now we have an updated edition, and it's okay. I'm human and I make mistakes. Like perfectionism, that's out the window.
Yes, indeed. And I love to see it because now, not only do you have the experience of being an author, congratulations on being an author, by the way, but you also uh, get the experience of actually connecting with people and making the impact that you were called to make, despite any imperfections, because you do get to be human. And I think that that is an idea that you get to take forward when you write your second book, or when you
Mhm.
start holding space for other people that are going through grief. I know that you have so many things coming down the timeline, and I want to talk about writing my way through grief. I have my copy right here. So excited to have it. And this nice little note that you wrote. I don't know if I should show people this because I don't know if everybody got it or if you just like me.
Um, well,
But it was
no, my
beautiful.
pre-order people all
Okay.
got. Pre-order people did get a specific, and not they didn't. Their note doesn't say what yours does.
Okay.
Everybody got a personalized message because for supporting me, like I wanted to make that connection, like you said, like.
Right. And I really love that. I want to what first off, I can't stop celebrating you because my cup runneth over for you. I know that I remember our first conversation and you're like, um, you told me about the stories, that the letters that you've been writing. You told me about the Spotify, and I was like, "Hey, did you ever think about making this a book?" And you're like, "Yeah, for like 5 years." And we got to working, and yeah, you're like you said, you're very excited. You want to do all of the things, and you mentioned it as kind of like our insiders, like, "Yeah, we got to focus," and we were able to get the book in hand, and the your stranger was able to read it. But now you're working on your second book. Tell me a
Yeah,
little bit
I'm
about
getting.
that.
I mean, I have over 200 pages written
Nice.
on that. I just have not. That will be organized different. I'm still back and forth about. I could probably have a couple books about that.
Let's
So
go.
I'm still working on the structure of that because there's a few different things that I could write about. I could write about my actual experience, but I also feel like that was a lesson that I needed, and there were so many lessons, and, after living abroad and trying to make everything happen the way that it was happening in my head and how I wanted it to,
Mhm. Right, right.
and, things didn't work out according to my plan,
Mhm.
imagine.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a lesson that I'm reminded of,
Mhm.
every day,
Right, right.
letting go of the control and, like,
Mhm.
um,
Surrendering to the
surrender.
situation. Yeah.
Exactly, and, that is still one that pops up
Yeah. Yeah.
all the time. But it also was a huge lesson in really finding myself and finding home
Mhm.
within myself.
Mm.
So
Feeling safe
so
in your
I'm
skin.
really. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and there were just so many lessons because, I mean, it changed my thoughts on. I've always been empathetic to people coming here from another country, but
Mm.
when you go and live in another country and it's not your first language, even though I learned a decent amount of Spanish, um,
It's cool.
I mean, there were times that I was scared to say anything because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna say it wrong. What if I put the accent on the wrong thing?" Um, just even being a lot of it was being comfortable with myself and
Mhm.
not being viewed a certain way, which is is another theme that's been in my life. Like I'm over there and I am an American. I am a turista, but I was like fighting that to be like, no, no, I just want to be seen for who I really am. Like I'm more than that. Like, and realizing sometimes like you can't control how other people think of you,
Mhm.
and if they want to get to know you, then they will see you for who you are, and you you have to let that go. And that's still something I think we all work on
Right.
sometimes.
No, I
But
think you're right.
I think being there made me feel differently, realizing when I was there and I had to speak Spanish all the time. Um, there were times that I didn't have to, but when I would see one person who spoke fluent English or an American, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I feel safe again. Like,
Wow.
'cause it's so much thinking. So now, like, when I meet people that have come from another country that speak Spanish, I do my best to speak Spanish with them
Mhm.
because I know that feeling of relief, like, "Oh, finally." And maybe I won't understand every single word, but, it helps them
Mhm.
feel a little safer.
That's so
Um,
beautiful, and I never got a chance to kinda see the perspective switched from an American going to the Dominican Republic versus, it's usually the other way around. I mean, at least for an American, right?
yeah.
I think we take for granted an environment that's kinda built for us, some a little bit more than others, but
Mhm.
essentially
Exactly.
essentially, where you don't have to worry about what you're gonna say, how you're gonna say it, for the most part, again. Uh, but you've had the reverse experience, and I think that that kind of adds to your character. I'm interested to know what it was like deciding to leave the United States in the first place. What made you go to DR?
I went on a vacation and then no, I didn't meet anyone there then, but I became friends after I came back. A mutual friend set me up with someone and we started talking and I was like, "Pff, no, I don't want a boyfriend there.
Mhm.
No, none of that." I was like, I just want to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
So I started speaking with them and we started with the Spanish. Oh,
Mhm,
sorry. Hold on. So I was practicing my Spanish because I was determined to learn.
mhm.
And then when I went there, I was only gonna stay for a month, and then I ended up being able to stay for, like, 5 months,
Wow.
and so I got to experience not just Punta Cana, but a lot of other places, like the mountains, and I mean, people don't even know where I stayed, there was no internet really,
Mhm.
no, it was very different. Slept with a s slept with a mosquito net.
Oof. Lot of character building, huh?
Yes. I actually love the mountains, though, but there were different parts that, well, part of living in another country too, in that situation, your body goes into survival mode,
Mm,
um, and you don't realize, like, how much is heightened.
mhm,
Um, so I've realized I've learned a lot more about that when I think about there's so many people that live that way, even here
mhm,
in a place that's supposed to be safe.
mhm,
I mean, survival mode can be a mentality,
mhm.
you know? Um, so it's very interesting. I've been learning a lot more about that too. So especially with everything going on right now in
Right.
the world,
Mm. How
you
do you
know?
navigate, this balance? How do you maintain a feeling of safety within yourself?
It's definitely it's definitely mental. I know there was a lot of times in the DR where I'd be like, "Okay, am I having anxiety? Like, what do I need?" And some days it was like just going to the beach to sit and write
Mhm,
and kind of figure that out and remind myself to get out of my head and get back into my body because your body gives you signs, whether it's even if it's anxiety, your body is telling you something's off.
mhm,
And that was one of my biggest lessons when I was living over there. And eventually had to leave because I was physically ill
Mm,
from anxiety. And I was like, why am I making myself stay here?
mhm.
I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I gotta get out.
Right, right.
Because why am I doing this to myself?
Mhm. So you
So,
ended so you ended up moving back?
yes.
Mhm.
And I was still mad
Yeah.
because I didn't want to go home.
You know what they say, no matter where you go, there you are. Right?
Yes.
Was
And
that
I
the
had
case
it.
for you?
I think part of it was I come from a small town. Everything is the same. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to be stuck. Like, you have people that look at having a solid career and a 9 to 5 and all these things like, oh, that's great, you
Mm,
know? And I'm like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to be that person. That's not
right,
me. I don't want to go do 9 to 5 every day. And yes, it's stable, it's good, a steady paycheck. There are good things that make you feel safe and secure. But sometimes there's something in your soul that just can't take it.
right.
You're like, I gotta get out.
Yeah. And you did. What do you say to somebody that's listening right now, right? That's feeling that exact thing. They are in a 9 to 5 that they don't love. Maybe they even hate it. A lot of people, they say 70% of people hate their jobs. What do you say to that person that has dreams of maybe going to live abroad, but feels stuck where they are?
Um, I th- I say listen to yourself. Like sometimes you have to slow down and even make a list. Like originally, the first time I left, I started making a plan. I made my escape plan. Like,
Yeah.
but also every job you go to is going to have something you don't like.
Mm,
So you have to really know. When you know what you don't want, it helps you realize what you do want. And so
right.
you really have to focus on all the things that you love and start doing more of those, like adding those into your daily life. And I think the other thing that I've started doing with myself is always, what am I learning from this right now? I know I'm mad. I know I don't want to be here right now.
Right.
But why am I here? What am I supposed to learn from this situation?
Mhm.
Because I thought I loved being in the Dominican, and then there were a lot of great things, but then there's other things I look back and I'm like, I was not my best self.
Mm,
I was having temper tantrums and breakdowns and felt like my 5-year-old self
mhm,
because my nervous system was like off. I was drinking more because
mhm,
my nervous system was off, and that would like calm me down. And then the next day or 2 days later, that alcohol is a depressant.
mhm,
And now I'm like a real mess.
mhm.
So then that cycle just repeats.
Right. That
So
Brugal, huh?
yeah,
That Brugal got
frugal
you.
and presidente.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
That
So, but but actually, like that was part of the part of my lesson. I didn't write the ending to this book, Writing
mhm,
My Way Through Grief, until I was back and
right,
until I had experienced that.
mhm.
And spoiler alert, I talk about that at the end
Yeah,
about the fact that there was a moment when my best friend's like, "Oh, you're doing great living there. Like your dad would be so proud." And I was like, "My dad would not be proud. My dad would be anxious."
mhm,
I
yeah,
said, "I wouldn't be here if my dad was alive."
right,
Because he lived his life with anxiety, depression, and he was a drinker because I think it was that whole, like, trying to regulate himself from anxiety and depression, and he wasn't he was a great guy. He was
right,
soft and loving and, uh, but he did have those struggles, and I think after he passed, it was kind of like, "Okay, we get 1 life. Like,
yeah,
is this what you're gonna do with it? there's got to be more. And I think that kind of helped me to be like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. So you started swinging for the fences. Let's
Exactly.
go. And everything that you experience, or the lead up to what you experienced down there in DR, is encompassed in this book. In From the letters to your father, writing my way through grief, a daughter's journey through love, loss, and letting go. Elissa Butson, you should be proud of yourself. Anybody that's listening right now that is inspired by Elisa's story, I want to invite you to not hesitate to jump into the description of this video, find the link. Let me see if I can shout it out. Let me call it out. Your link is gingerfunked.com, right? Easy to remember. You don't even have to look at it. You can just type it in. Shout out to Ginger Funked. Go get a copy of the book and be better for it, because I know that I'm better for having had this conversation and diving into what it looks like to really jump out of your comfort zone. It is the theme of the podcast here, is having the guts to follow your guts, and Elisa is a perfect example of that, and what benefits you can reap from having just done the thing. Like, she didn't know that the people that she was going to reach, she was going to reach. She didn't know that she was going to make the connections that she did. And here we are, and we're just getting started. Get excited. I'm celebrating you some more. Hey, Elisa,
Also,
go ahead.
there I was you're reminding me that anxiety or fear and excitement are the same emotion.
Right. Just expressed
So,
differently, right?
it's kind of like there were people that thought I was crazy for doing what I was doing, and others thought I was brave. And maybe I was a little bit of both, but I did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I resonate so deeply with your story. Like, I've jumped out of my comfort zone. I also had a father who I lost to alcoholism, and great guy, nothing negative to say, but we use that
Yeah.
as self-medication. And at the same time, on the flip side of the coin, a lot of us stay in environments that prevent us from actually, properly diagnosing those things. But because you've left your environment, you was able to identify anxiety, depression. You was able to identify
Mhm.
the ways that you kind of cope and deal with those things. So now you're a better person at managing what you need, finding what you need, and taking care of yourself. So I think if anybody takes anything away from this conversation, that's definitely one of the biggest things, is that you kind of have to go away from what you're used to reconnect with what's true about you. Right? What do you think?
Definitely. Yes, because when I went there, it actually put those physical boundaries where all the invitations, stuff that I felt like I had to go to, I couldn't say no to. I didn't have to say no anymore
Right.
because they were like, "Oh, you're not even here." And I'm like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but also, like, I could be whoever I wanted there. It
Yeah.
was which let me take the time and explain Ginger Funk, because that's all that's exactly what Ginger Funk how it started. So
Mhm.
Ginger Funk was like my alter ego that I created years ago when I started my blog, and um it was the side of me that didn't have to live in the box, the people pleaser, like the girl that grew up in church and didn't want to upset anyone. I could just be my real self.
Mhm.
So Ginger Funk was who I created, and I feel like now that's becoming my brand, and I'm becoming Ginger. I've so Alyssa and Ginger are not separate, and I love it because everybody like on TikTok, all my TikTok friends call me Ginger, and
Yeah.
I answer to both.
Ginger from now on. Okay. Okay, Ginger. I got a couple more questions, but before I continue, I kind of
Ginger,
want. Oh yeah, that's the one.
my stickers.
Right here.
I was more
Got
excited
mine.
about those than I was my book. In some ways, I was like, "Oh, stickers!"
The logo, it is official. Oh yeah, you get a bunch of these. I'm gonna put them all over the microphone. Get it going for sure. Hey Ginger,
Just the
so
little thing.
I think that, you know, when we first met, we had a lot of fun, right? So we got to know each other pretty quickly, right? And we got the ball rolling. You told me about the book you wanted to write. I'm interested to know from your perspective what it's been like working with me specifically to get this book together and get it into the people, into the hands of the people who needed it the most.
Um, well, I remember being like the first week I was like, I'm gonna do this book. And then the next week I was like, I think I'm gonna write this book. And you're like, okay, we're switching gears. And the next week it was kind of like, okay, you were gently reminding me like, okay, let's just pick one.
Yeah.
We gotta focus, which I needed
Yeah.
because I have so many ideas and sometimes I'm ready to just do them all.
Hmm.
So so that was a huge help. And even in meeting weekly, I felt like you really helped me just picking one thing a week. And I'd be like, that's all? That's all you want me to do? I'm like,
Hmm.
wait, I need like 10 more things.
Right.
And then I'd be like, okay, I'm really probably gonna do those 10 more things. But okay, as long as I get this one done,
Mhm.
I'll be good. So it really helped to have that accountability. Um, and you ask all the good questions that I'm like, huh? I don't know. I don't know. I'd be like, can I get back to you? So it helped me. Like it's almost like therapy. Like after a good session, you walk away and you're like, let me think about that.
Mhm.
Um,
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, we definitely had to find a track, be on the
yes.
track. Um, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. Might have taken a couple more years, but we were able to get your book published and in physical form in about 3 months, a little, and maybe a little bit less than 3 months, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that was just nothing to do with either one of us. It was
Right.
just along the
Right.
process, learning something I learned about the process in hiring other people to do the formatting and stuff. Yeah,
Right. You got it
I've
done.
learned how to scout that out better.
Yeah.
And sometimes don't forget you get what you pay for. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always say, right, that it's not so much about having a book as it is about becoming an author. Does that resonate with you? Do you feel like you transformed as a person throughout the process in any way?
yes, definitely. I mean, the fact that I can now take my physical book and look at it and find like the few errors, I'm like, oh well, everybody's got a special copy if they already have it. Like, we'll just do another edition. And I remember you kept saying, it's okay, you can fix it. And I'm like, what is wrong with him? It's gotta be perfect the first time. What does he mean?
Right.
But now actually the other day I was looking on Goodreads where you can I used to read like 100 books a year and track them all. And I found authors that have like 200 editions, and I'm like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Okay."
Right.
I'm like, "It's not that big of a deal."
Yeah, and I resonate with that myself too, because when I was starting to write my first book, I thought that I needed to be at the peak of the mountain. I needed to have 7 cars and 8 houses and traveled the world and done all of the things. And someone pulled me to the side, and Dr. Kenny Jones is his name. I'm gonna shout him out. And was like, "Hey, man, just because you write this book doesn't mean that you can't write another one." Right. So now I'm
Mhm.
looking to do the second edition of my first book, but this time I get to do it with the experience of having the first book. And I think that that's what perfectionists miss, right? Is that they want it to be perfect, right? But the experience is what makes things seem to be perfect, right? Because
Right.
those people have data points, they have again experience, right? They know
Mhm.
what works, what doesn't work, what to look out for, what will extend the project unnecessarily, what's worth looking at, what's not worth looking at. And then they could create a project that comes from having already done the thing, and you're at a point where you have done the thing. Shout out to you. Brr, 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 brr. I need to get a, sound effects machine. Brr, 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 brr. So
Um,
everybody right now, go ahead and get this book. Please don't hesitate. What were you gonna say?
it's also I just lost my train of thought, but you were saying, oh, the process. Like I hired two different interior formatters, and even just that process, I learned a lot because the first person I didn't know the questions to ask or whatever, and she didn't either. And then the next person was like, it took a week for us to decide, but then it was a lot smoother. So sometimes slowing down
Right.
and really researching can help,
Slow and
you know.
steady wins the race for
Mhm.
sure. Now, I want to go on and talk more about this book and your next book. Anybody listening right now, please don't hesitate. Jump on not only to get the book, but follow Ginger Funk on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Find her anywhere you can find her because she does
All
do
over.
lives regularly. We have a writing group coming up. We have,
Mhm.
and she's here to support, right? So she's here to help you process your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences, and make sure that you're aligned to take steps in your life that are in your best interest so you can start living by design instead of by default. My last question for you, Miss Ginger, is what can somebody do right now? Maybe a baby step. What can somebody listening do right now to start living a little bit more by design instead of by default?
Um, Honestly, I think it's slowing down and listening, like taking time to sit with yourself. I mean, I've been doing more of that after the whole like book release and wanting all these things and all these ideas um and I've been really tired the last week or two
Mhm,
and realizing that my body's like, okay, it's time to rest. And rest doesn't mean you're lazy.
mhm,
Sometimes we need that reset. So getting your getting your nervous system like checking in with yourself, like what's going on.
mhm. I
That
love
is
it.
the and then write it down.
Let's go.
Write it down because you'll be amazed when you go back, like, with this process with the book, that's not the only time I've written something down. I go back and even earlier this year, I
Mhm.
found 3 or 4 different places in my writing that I put, "I am a published author."
Let's go.
Here I am.
Here you are. Brr, 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 brr. Okay, celebrations. All right, I'm super excited for having spoken with you. Thank you for spending some time with us. Everybody listening, as always, love, love, be well, and don't forget to have the guts to follow your guts. Peace.
Thank you.
Yes.